Hi folks, my name is Charles E. Diering. I was born in St. Louis, February the 5th, 1923. That's a long time ago. And so I'm a real native St. Louisan. And in grade school, we as kids formed our own little teams to play different sports. We played baseball. We formed baseball teams in our neighborhood. Well, also we played hockey in the streets, and that was the things we had to do when we were a young kid. And that was in 1941 when I graduated from my school for 3 years. And the sports I participated there was baseball. That's where I excelled at there. And then in baseball, the American Legion team picked me to play with them for a couple years. One was with the Cardinal Scout, and another one was a St. Louis Brown Scout, and they were both big league teams in the city of St. Louis. But I chose the St. Louis Cardinals for one reason. The Cardinal Scout's son and I, we grew up together from grade school on, and we played baseball together, and his dad was teaching us all the basic fundamentals. So I thought, well, it was no more than right that I signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. But when I graduated in 41 of June, I signed my contract, I made the team, and they sent me to Albany, Georgia, and there's where I put in a full year of baseball as a professional. And then after the 42 season was over, I signed a contract with Uncle Sam. 3 years, 1943, 1944, 1945, and I came home in 46, the first part of 46. So I put 3 years in a World War II time of my life. So when the 1946 season came along, I went to spring training. The St. Louis Cardinals assigned me to a Rochester team, which was our AAA farm club, and that was was just right under the major league club, the St. Louis Cardinals. I was really a good defensive outfielder. I could go get the ball, I could run, and I could throw. I was good in aspect. I was just a decent hitter. I was no big home run hitter. Heck, I was only I think 150-pound kid back playing ball then. But I had a good year up there. I think I hit 260 and was one of the top center fielders in the league. And so when that season was over at 56, came home, and the Cardinals, they assigned me to their big league club to have spring training with them. And at that time, the St. Louis Cardinals just won the World Series in 56. I was one of the top defensive outfielders in the game, and the Cardinals bought my contract in 47. I stayed with them all of 47, and I finished out with the Cardinals in 1948. Then went to spring training in 1949. I was with the Cardinal Club, and I had a good year there. I played center field regular for them. I hit 260, and I still was one of the top center fielders in the game. And we got eliminated from winning the pennant that year by the last day of the season. So I had a good year there, and I have established Cardinals in 1950. I played with them all in 50. I played with the Cardinals all in 51. And then in the winter of 1951, the Cardinals made a trade. They traded Max Lanier and I to the New York Giants, and they got Eddie Stanky from that club and made him the manager of the Cardinals. So I was a New York Giant member in 1952, and I think the reason why they picked me up is Willie Mays was their center fielder there. And everybody knows who Willie Mays is, or they should know. He's in the Hall of Fame and one of the great home run hitters and outfielders in the game. And I hit 260, 270 in that year. And that ended in 1953. And St. Louis Browns were in St. Louis. That's at that time, in that era, we had two clubs, the St. Louis Cardinals and St. Louis Browns. But the St. Louis Browns were going bankrupt, so the Baltimore town bought the St. Louis Browns, and they called them the Baltimore Orioles, and they went to 54 in Baltimore. And they bought my contract from the Giants for, I think, for $25,000 to play center field in a huge football stadium they had up there. So I joined the Orioles in 1954, and I played center field for that team. Again, one of the top center fielders in the game there. I hit real good. I hit 260. In fact, that year, the town was awarding a most valuable player prize for the most valuable player and most popular player. They was awarding a new Cadillac automobile. Well, the town really fell in love with the way I played the game, and I thought, hey, I got a good chance to become the most popular player, and I might win a new Cadillac. You know, so I was sitting in a dugout there, and they come out and they said, and the person that is the most valuable player is Chuck Diering. So I've got that trophy. It's in my trophy case there, and I'm number one for the MVP. And Bob Turley, which he turned out to be a fantastic World Series pitcher for the New York Yankees, he won the Cadillac. I said, well, he don't have the Cadillac now, but I've got my trophy. So I played with the Orioles 54, 55, 56, and then in 56 the Orioles, they sent me to the Montreal club. They sold my contract to them, which was a AAA club in the International League, and I finished out that year in 56 there. And when the season was over, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was no youngster no more for baseball then. I was 32 or 33 years old then. So really, I was at the end of my career. But I put 17 years in a professional baseball career, so that was a long career. So I retired out of the automobile business in 1980, and I was officially retired by then. So then I went into playing golf. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm retired, got my family all raised, and enjoying playing my golf 2 and 3 times a week. Not getting any younger, but I'm hanging in there.